Thursdays. So much to talk about, so little time. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Suzette Speaks, your hostess with the mostest right here on Voice of the Caribbean Radio. If you're new to the fam, welcome. We have a good time. We hang out. We talk about social media trends, news, hot off the presses. As we speak about news, there is a warehouse fire going on in Northwest Miami-Dade. As I'm watching NBC6 live here in the studio, this has been going on, I think, about 11 o'clock. I was watching, I think, The View at the time, and some cutaways came on our live feed that went straight to this out of control fire. Now, we've had rain here in South Florida for the last few days, but today the weather forecast says no rain, and of course that is not helping the conditions on the ground. As you can tell if you've been outside, it's been very windy today, and the wind has been picking up speed, and as the firefighters and authorities are working to try to contain this fire, it's getting a little bit more difficult because of the conditions. I am watching live on NBC6. Again, a warehouse has caught fire. And then what is one thing that's very interesting about warehouses, it depends on what type of materials are inside the warehouse. And of course, we don't have reports yet on what kind of warehouse this is and what kind of storage. But you will see it if you're on the highways and byways, if you're on I-95, if you are traveling towards the area of Northwest Miami-Dade. The plumes of smoke have been billowing higher and higher, and you can see them from quite a distance. Firefighters are on the scene, are trying to get water. I've seen reports that they're trying to tap actually some canals in the vicinity. And again, a fire at a warehouse is being reported in Northwest Miami-Dade. Again, if you're in that vicinity, you probably can see the smoke from where you are. So our thoughts are with the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, which is on the scene right now. They're in attack mode, trying to take out this fire. Again, sometimes these warehouses do have chemicals and other products in them, and so breathing in the area, of course, the smoke can be filled with all types of toxins anyway. But if you do have any type of lung and respiratory sensitivity, you might want to be avoiding this area. So once again, a warehouse fire is being reported right now, blazing, right? As soon as you, between, I think they say Northwest Miami-Dade, think just south of Miramar is the area that they're located in, and we're just trying to keep track of that. Did you guys hear about the burger wars, the fast food burger wars that has been erupting? Well, we could talk burger wars. We could talk, I want to talk about Americans, though, that are overseas. The top story, of course, is the conflict going on in the Middle East. As you woke up like me, having a nice sleep on a Friday evening, and then woke up on Saturday to news that the United States and Israel had attacked Iran. Your eyes probably, checked 2 and 3 times, because I kept looking at my screen and I said, God, is this real? I don't think this is something that would be in my deck of cards for the 2026, since we're only about what? We just in March, y'all. We just in March. 60 days plus barely. And we're looking at the news, and if you were a millennial like myself, we've been through so much. We've come through 9/11. We've come through pandemics. We've come through the housing crash. We've come through so many different crises from around the world. We've had Middle Eastern conflicts from the boomers. The boomers know about it. In the 1970s. Where gas prices skyrocketed. Yes, the boomers have had their share of Middle Eastern conflicts. Of course, bringing it into the 80s. Who can forget the 90s? Us millennials and the Iraq War of the 90s. Desert Storm, ring a bell. Absolutely. Then there's a war in the Middle East for every decade. We move forward to where we're going. We're going to 9/11. 9/11, a lot of us obviously remember that time. There are people now that are adults who weren't born yet for 9/11. We got to keep that in mind. So I'm going over some history, y'all. Welcome. Anyway, this is the Suzette Speaks show. I'm an attorney. I would call it a community advocate. I also have a wonderful program going, not only here on Voice of the Caribbean every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We talk hot topics, social media trends, and news you can use. We got to break down the news for you. All of us are very busy, and we're trying to understand what's going on. I try to give you the headlines that impact both our world and here in South Florida. And again, so much news, so little time. But right now, Iran has been flexing its muscle. I don't think, I mean, I can have my opinion. And again, opinions and views expressed during the Suzette Speak show are that of the host and the callers. They do not reflect the ownership and management of this station, right? So thankfully, we do have the ability to share our hearts, share our minds. But I'm going to more ask questions today because I don't think we have all the answers. Like, as in, why are we in this conflict in the first place? What does anyone know, class? Anybody understand why we attacked Iran? I might play, and I think I'm gonna just have to play it from the horse's mouth. Mr. Marco Rubio on why we attacked Iran. I'm still trying to figure out what the actual, what would you say, the cause, the stimulus, the purpose. Have you been able to tell why we are actually in a war? Now, many are not calling it a war. Some are saying, I don't know what else to call it. I've heard the president use the word war, President Trump. But Marco Rubio and his reason for our attack are a little bit, I don't know. Is some would call it sketchy, some would call it unclear. Some will say, why are we fighting? Why are we fighting again? Did Marco actually explain why we're fighting? I'm gonna play a little sound so you could judge for yourself. This is Marco Rubio yesterday, coming to us from the Capitol, and he was describing why we are in fact in a conflict right now in the Middle East. Now, Marco Rubio, of course, is the Secretary of State of the United States. He handles all foreign policy. And of course, Secretary of State, this was March 2nd, right? Just a few days in. We're about 5 days in now, guys. It's about 5 days in. I don't know about you, but social media changes the perspective on war. Because normally people have to wait for the evening news and official outlets to report. No, I'm going to talk about the Americans, the thousands of Americans. I got to remember our brothers and sisters who are now stranded with no seeming means to get home. This is a very big concern. People who are American citizens, American taxpayers, I just call them human beings that happen to also share citizenship with you and I, are stranded in the Middle East. Now, I saw this is a hot, like the trends that we're going to talk about are going to relate back to the war. But I'm going to tell you what people are talking about. People are talking about the war of the burgers, the burgers CEOs. I don't know if maybe I'll talk about. Well, I have to talk about it. It's trending. Did you guys see the McDonald's CEO take the little, they call it a rabbit bite, trying to introduce a new product that McDonald's is bringing to market? He doesn't say burger. He says product. This product is an incredible product. That's what he said. I got to play it for you. The McDonald's CEO seemed to be very excited about this product, except for when he had to take his first bite of it. He made sure to tell us he dropped it on social media. That's why I'm like, they actually consciously recorded the CEO of McDonald's and said, this is the best take. Let's put it up on social media. Wagwan, wagwan. Everybody watching on the YouTube side, say hello. You can follow me on all platforms, Suzette Speaks. You can watch me, on voiceofthecaribbean.com. We got the cameras rolling. Mikey, we got the cameras rolling? I think we got the cameras rolling. As well as on the YouTube side. Follow me, Suzette Speaks, on all platforms. I was telling you, I have an incredible Women's History Month webinar tonight. Yours truly, Suzette Speaks, will be moderating. I'm so grateful. We're going to be talking about, of course, this Women's History Month, and we are going to, on behalf of the Virgil Hawkins chapter of the National Bar Association. Now, I'm an attorney, and again, here I'm not giving legal advice. Here I'm, sharing news for informational and educational and entertainment purposes only. And tonight's conversation is going to feature some heavy hitters, 4 incredibly powerful Black women lawyers from across this country are going to gather, and I have the distinct honor of moderating the conversation about, and it's so timely because we just came out of Black History Month, but we know we celebrate Black History every day. Black History 365 around here, yes. And I'm so grateful that the National Bar Association is the attorney bar association that represents Black attorneys all across the country. You have to remember, in the United States, only about 5% total of the total attorneys in our country are melanated, are Black, right? Only 5%. And, I think it's divided between the men and the women 3% and 2%. Can you imagine? So I think, again, my eyes are sometimes skewed here in South Florida because we have so many of us in South Florida, Black attorneys. We see them, we see the commercials, we see the billboards, so we think are plentiful. I was like, of that 5% nationally of all attorneys in the country, only 5% are Black. So when I look around, I was like, maybe about 80% of that 5% live in South Florida, New York, and Washington, D.C., like for real, because we take for granted. I see so many of my colleagues. We just celebrated the NAACP chapter I think it was the Broward County NAACP chapter, just celebrated a night with the Black judges. And I'm just grateful to see the number increase. I think we have, 200 about, give or take, county court judges. I think that's in Broward County. And we're slowly seeing the bench. We're slowly seeing judges reflective of the makeup of the community. And that is to be celebrated. So tonight, when I joined this powerhouse group of ladies, including Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney, you'll know her name, Fani Willis, the distinguished attorney that brought the case against, racketeering case that is, against the artist known as Young Thug, the lady who also brought the case against Donald J. Trump for conspiracy to commit, fraud against the Georgia voters when it comes to the Georgia election. She made national headlines, of course, in that pursuit. And she will be one of the people I'm humbly being able to interview and talk to tonight. So if you are an attorney, or even if you are a person who just cares about your community, a community activist, you can register. Go to Virgil Hawkins chapter of the National Bar Association. It's open. It's open for registration. That'll be tonight at 6. We're going to go from 6 to 8. The panel also includes retired Florida Supreme Court Chief Justice Peggy Quince. Judge Quince has had a stellar career, making it to the very, very top court of Florida, the Florida Supreme Court, where she also served as the Chief Justice. We also will be having the first Black woman to serve as the state senator in the state of Florida. And her name is Arthenia Joyner. Just almost lost my train of thought. Shout out to Trailblazer, senator, community activist, attorney, and much more out of the Tampa area. Senator Arthenia Joyner will be joining me. I can't wait for this panel, and the current president of the National Bar Association as well. So we have a heavy-hitting panel tonight. Yours truly, again, Suzette Speaks. I just posted it across all my social media platforms. So if you follow me on Facebook, if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on LinkedIn, wherever you follow me, you can see the information about tonight's panel and where to register. And again, we are going to elevate the discourse. That's one of the things I love to do. We have to become better thinkers. Hello. Not just allowing the news or certain influencers to think for you, me included, right? I want you to ask the questions. I want you to hear firsthand from the people who have done the work, who have trailblazed the path, including, like I say, former Florida Supreme Court Chief Justice Peggy Quince, who's now retired. She will be joining me. Florida State Senator, first Black woman Florida State Senator, Arthenia Joyner out of Tampa, as well as from the state of Georgia and Fulton County's District Attorney. Tonight, I will have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Fani Willis. It will be a powerhouse panel, y'all. Y'all got to tune in. Make sure you look at my social media to know how to register if you want to listen into that Women's History Month webinar and what the ladies have to say about the power of Black women in the law. And I'm really excited to be the moderator tonight. Once again, if you're just joining, welcome. This is the Suzette Speaks Show. I'm here live and in living color, enjoying this beautiful, thankful Thursday. No rain in the sky, but that is not so good news for a breaking news story that is happening in Northwest Miami-Dade, which is parallel to Miramar. Northwest Miami-Dade, parallel to Miramar, basically next door to Miramar, right? Northwest Miami-Dade borders on Miramar. There is, I just want to alert you, a warehouse fire that has been going strong, and I'm watching it live from NBC6. You can tune in later, but we'll keep you updated here on Voice of the Caribbean. But again, this is a first alert because the fire rescue, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, is also on the scene, the Miramar Fire Rescue Team. is on the scene. And because it is a dry day, there's no rain so far forecast in this vicinity. We see a massive fire that has broken out in northwestern Miami-Dade. So please be aware, again, bordering on the city of Miramar. If you're driving, going in the direction west, out to 75 or to and from the Miramar area or to and from northwestern Miami-Dade, we want you to take caution, and you probably can see the plumes of smoke from where you are. This is an active fire, and authorities are still saying that it is not under control. It's not been contained. It's an industrial facility. I'm not quite sure. I'm not seeing reports yet on what kind of materials are inside this warehouse, but there can be hazardous materials. Again, if you have any respiratory sensitivities, please be on alert. Again, the fire has broken out in a facility in northwestern Miami-Dade on the border with the city of Miramar. So again, take caution if you're in that area or try to avoid that area. We have also a news alert popping in here at the Voice of the Caribbean.
Authorities have issued a fire warning for power to fail, beginning at 1:24 p.m. and ending at 1:54 p.m. Heavy smoke due to a fire is impacting the area. It is recommended for those with respiratory problems and medical conditions to shelter in place if possible. Stay indoors. Close windows and doors and recirculate ventilation systems. Monitor local media and official Miami-Dade County alerts for updates. No evacuations necessary.
Once again, we are here, and we just got an emergency alert from the Florida Broadcasting System. Once again, we've been telling you about a fire, that is on an active fire scene in the northwestern area of Miami-Dade County. That is the part of the county that borders the city of Miramar. And again, you heard from the first alert that you need to stay indoors, try to avoid inhaling. The smoke is out there. There are tons of firefighters and other professionals on the scene, both from Miramar, city of Miramar, as well as the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. And it is an active scene. Again, if you're going along I-75 corridor, close to the border between Miramar as well as Miami-Dade County, you probably can see the very high plumes of smoke, gray smoke, white smoke billowing from this warehouse. We're again not certain. We don't see reports yet as to what kind of materials were housed in this warehouse district, but of course it is affecting a wide area, including parts of Miami-Dade County, the northwestern parts of Miami-Dade, as well as the city of Miramar. I see interviews taking place live right now on NBC6 with City of Miramar Mayor Wayne Messam, as well as I've seen Miami-Dade County Commissioner Oliver Gilbert taking questions. But again, we can see a very active scene, very dangerous. Try to avoid this area if you can. Northwestern Miami-Dade, if you're traveling in your car and you're listening, please be aware that there is a warehouse fire, active warehouse fire going on as you approach Miramar or the border of Miami-Dade County and the city of Miramar. So please be advised to stay clear of that area, okay? Everybody stay safe. Now, I do want to get to Marco Rubio. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters on the Capitol, that was on Monday, March 2nd, that the imminent threat that prompted strikes on Iran was the fact that Iran was going to be attacked. By who? Iran was going to be attacked by who, class? Okay. Which therefore meant Iran was going to attack the U.S. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense to you? Listen for yourself.
Now, well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond against the United States. In fact, it bears to be true because, in fact, within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act. Going back.
So who, I'm still confused, guys. I got to take a quick break. We're going to talk more about what Secretary of State Marco Rubio just said right after this. Stick and stay.
All new Voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. The voice of the Caribbean. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
I didn't touch nothing. And it's silent. I didn't touch nothing. So we're back. We're great that we had a quick break there. Sorry, guys, for the silence. We were looking for some more information about this warehouse fire for you. Thank you for being a part of the Voice of the Caribbean family. I'm Suzette Speaks. Welcome, welcome, one and all. We have an amazing show, as we do always talk about the hot topics that are trending on social media, of course, local news, national news, of course, that you can use. And I love to say there's so much news and so little time. I only got an hour. Thank you, Mike and Mike. But we're here to let you know what's happening in and around our area. Again, just real quick, at the top of the hour, I just want to remind you there is a warehouse fire in northwestern Miami-Dade. That's on the border of Miami-Dade County and Miramar. The plumes of smoke have been billowing high into the air. Again, there are respiratory advisories. If you are sensitive, if you have asthma, something with your lungs, anything like that, you want to avoid this area. Stay indoors, of course. And in general, we want to let the fire rescue, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, Miramar Fire Department, and others who are reported on the scene to be able to do their jobs, right? So we want to stay out of their way. Again, this is you could probably see it if you're traveling along 75, even further beyond, because the plumes of smoke have been billowing for quite some time. I thought that it started, or at least it was reported first, I think around 11 a.m., but we can see fire, like fiery blaze still going. And the scene is not quite under control, right? We don't know what kind of chemicals, if any, or any other materials were stored in this warehouse. So it makes it highly dangerous. And of course, our thoughts are with the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, as well as the City of Miramar Fire Department and others who are battling this blaze. It is an active scene. So please stay away from northwestern Miami-Dade on the border of the City of Miramar. And again, if you have respiratory, and even if you don't, sensitivities, please stay out of their way and indoors in order to protect yourself. Now, I was just playing for you Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Poor Marco Rubio. They put him out front on this one, guys, and in a statement made on March 2nd. Now, from what I heard, now I played it for you. You make your judgment. From what I heard, Marco Rubio stated that there was information that one particular country was going to attack Iran, the country of Iran. And if that country attacked Iran, that's what I'm asking you if you heard what I heard, Marco Rubio, and there being an imminent threat. That's the word he used, that there was an imminent threat. Because if Iran were attacked, not that Iran had been attacked, they had received warning that a country was going to attack Iran. And because they received warning that that country was going to attack Iran, they felt like Iran was going to hit back immediately and therefore attack the United States. And so they had to move before the attack. Now, I'm trying to figure out does that sound like a legitimate reasoning to you? I'm trying to figure out how we get here. Did you see that gas prices already jumped? Miami-Dade County, Broward County. Now, we only 5 days in, and I remember on the day of the attack, the Monday, I said, boy, let me go buy a tank of gas, because gas price is about to go up, and I think the last time I went, it was $2.79. What was it today? Can somebody tell me, class? What did you see on the gas? What did you see? I saw yesterday, I didn't go out today, and I didn't pay attention today, but yesterday I saw $3.29. So that's how much cents, mats. How much cents is that? 50 cents more? Am I saying that? 79 to 39, 29, 40 cents. Y'all do the maths. 29, 79, 89, 99, 09, 19, 50 cents more. I know how to count, guys. Give me. I'm better at language arts. Okay. Anyway, 50 cents more. And this is just beginning. Gas is up 70 cents. I see you online, Pastor Damon Blissett, on my YouTube saying gas is up 70 cents in Kansas City. Really, sir? Thank you for sharing that. So we've already begun to feel the impacts of this conflict. Now, I don't think, I could be wrong, because I want to get to the Americans that are stranded in this very broad war zone. Now, I don't know if the United States military leaders calculated what kind of response was really going to happen. I think it seems to me, now you make your own assessment, it was a lot of, oh, we going to hit them and bada bing, bada boom. According to reports, there were reports that the United States not only heard that Iran was supposed to be attacked by another country, therefore, if they were attacked, they were going to attack the United States. So they had to attack first before that country attacked Iran, and they attacked the, what? You follow? I don't know if that's enough justification to throw the first bomb. Now, we're hearing now that Iran is not playing games, though. Iran is not just retaliating against that country. Iran is letting everybody have it. Every military base the United States has all over the region. Iran is like, y'all in play. The exquisite destination city of Dubai has also been attacked. Hotels have been hit. Now I want to play. Now what really bothers me, because I'm thinking about my summer vacation plans, y'all. I was ready to go to Europe. I don't know. I'm gonna have to Zoom with the travel agent. Are we still on or what? We don't know. But I saw lots of video. When you talk about what's trending right now, let me tell you what's trending, because everybody can see what's going on. Social media has changed the way war is even consumed. It's almost like war as entertainment. It's kind of weird. You have influencers, stuck in Dubai because the airport is now closed. Now remember, Dubai is a very, very hot tourist destination. And what I'm seeing throughout my feed, there's two things I'm seeing throughout my feed. And I don't have the corroboration for one, so I'm going to say alleged, because I don't know. There are lots of reports. And again, it's not founded, but I see it over and over again, and I have to do my own research. I haven't had time before this particular program, but that the casualty count of Americans is lower than what it is. That is what's being alleged. I'm not saying that's true. But if you watch social media, they're saying that news from other countries outside of the United States are putting out there, not saying it's true. We want to be responsible, right? I think we have been reporting how many deaths? Is it 6 at this point? But if you're watching, and there's other people that are getting their news from India, getting their news from Al Jazeera, getting their news from outside of United States-based sources, those sources are saying that there are higher casualties on the American side than have been reported. I can't confirm. These are alleged reports, right? We're going to tell you that it's not necessarily true. But if you're asking me what's socially trending, that's what I see a lot of people posting on social media, that we don't have the full picture. That is to be determined. We do not have corroboration one way or another. That's the alleged condition of our trending segment. What is also trending is that there are many Americans, tax-paying citizens, who are stuck now in a war zone and don't have a means of getting out. And I saw a particular post, that's what moved my heart so much. I said, I got to talk about this tomorrow on my show. Welcome. This is the Suzette Speaks Show. If you're brand new here, I'm Suzette Speaks. I'm an attorney. I guess you call me a community advocate, someone who's passionate about helping others become the best version of themselves. Now, anything I say on this show is my opinion and does not reflect the opinion of our station's ownership or management. Of course, it's just the opinion of myself or the callers. And viewer discretion is advised in that regard. Now, again, I'm going to ask the questions today because to me, we have more questions than we do have proper information from our governmental sources. So we're trying to put the pieces together. But what scares me is I saw many posts of young ladies looking like they were on a like a bridal party, right? With the bride, and they're on what do they call it? Not the honeymoon. What do they call it when the girls get together? Bachelorette. There we go. Sorry, the bachelorette party, and they're hanging out in Dubai, big time Dubai, poolside Dubai, rooftop Dubai, and then guess what happened in the video? Boom, boom, boom. In the background, pop, pop, pop. Launcher, rocket. When I say video, if you gotta watch this on social media, I had to turn it off. My spirit was arrested. Me say me watch bomb. It looked like Star Wars in the sky. When you see them let go, let me tell you, them hypersonic missiles is not to be played with. What Iran have, so you have to remember, most of the American allies in the Middle East are tied to American defense software and equipment. In other words, let me break down. So what does that mean? Places like Saudi Arabia, they rely on the United States for their defense equipment. I'm talking about planes, I'm talking about missiles, bombs, what you want to call it, as well as the software, missile seeking software and things that Iran has now been bombing of ours. Yeah. So their systems are tied to American technology. The only country within the region that does not have the American software and American source companies as its source of its defense is Iran. Iran is not tied to this. Iran is not tied to us in that regard. Their allyship lies elsewhere. So some of the technologies they have, that's not linked to American software. That's not linked to, basically, if Saudi wants to send a bomb or send a missile out, the United States authorities kind of will already know because they have the technology. The Saudis bought it from us. We bought it from USA. But the only party in the region that don't play that is Iran. Their defense equipment is independent of the United States. So we're seeing some of the technologies. Again, I don't know if our government really anticipated some of what we're seeing. When I say them high velocity missiles, they're talking about Israel having a Iron Dome, but things are getting through the Iron Dome. The Iron Dome is a defense, what can I say, a missile defense system that when the opponent shoots their rockets, their missiles, their bombs, or drones across your border and is targeting you, these defensive missiles are supposed to be sent off immediately and intercept them. They call it, striking them in the air. Now, that has not seemed to work a lot of the time because the missiles are getting through and hitting places, like I said, outside of the main countries in the conflict. They let everybody have it. Iran's like, what it is? What do you want from us? Now, there's a group of people, and I want to focus back on the people, the American citizens that are stuck in places like Dubai because the airport has been shut down. So you imagine you at your bachelorette trip, you and your girls rooftop, y'all was just sipping on Thursday, and bombs hitting y'all by Monday. And when you're calling on the United States government to help, it seems as if, and I need to pull up the State Department letter, because it's saying that you need to find your own help to get out. Is that fair? What was the plan to get U.S. citizens out? Was there a plan? Was there a plan even? It's shocking to me. Let me see if I can find the State Department letter. I'm a little perturbed. If you want to call me and let me know how you feel, 850-446-0562. Suzette Speaks live, 850-446-0562. As I told you, I will be, let me put State Department. Where's it? Travel advisory. Let's see what's on the travel advisory list because it got to be everybody right now. The travel advisory for international travel. Wait. They're supposed to tell you which countries now because it got to be almost all of them in the Middle East at this time. Is it safe to travel? Reconsidering visiting Europe. Listen, I already was planning for my trip for summer. People are nervous. Like I said, gas in some places here in South Florida up 50 cents from what I can see from up to yesterday. But according to an outlet in Arizona, this is interesting, AZ Central, Arizona Central, travel safety is greater concern right now for international travels after the United States and Israel launched joint military strikes on Iran that killed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The U.S. Department of State issued a worldwide caution for Americans traveling internationally, particularly within the Middle East. It came 1 week after the death of the cartel leader in Mexico. Remember, we went to the cartel in Mexico. We went to the Maduro in Venezuela. Now we over here took out Iran's supreme leader. And you got to remember, he's like the religious leader as well for that sect of Islam. So it'd be like, and I'm trying to make a comparison loosely, but taking out the president of Italy and taking out, and I think Joanne Reed made that comparison, taking out the president of Italy as well as taking out the Pope together, how would that country react? That's what you've taken out when you killed Khamenei. The State Department offers guidance. Now remember, this is spring break time right now. Woo. State Department offers guidance on travel safety between most of these locales that are now affected by war on their website. You can always check their website. And but you got to know that this has disrupted travel throughout the region. And there, I want to be able to play. I wonder if I could find her audio. The Americans. Let's see what CBS News had to say about Americans trapped overseas and what it means in order for them to find their own way. And we're going to give you some audio real quick from CBS News. Americans stranded amid stuff.
Well, it's for many, it's a desperate effort to get out of here. Yeah. And you and I, Tony, were out here about an hour ago watching as U.S. warships fired Tomahawk missiles over our head. We saw Iranian missiles coming in. There are warplanes crisscrossing the sky. But what is not flying are commercial airliners, meaning that millions of people are stranded in this conflict zone. As the U.S., Israel, and Iran trade attacks, millions of civilians across the Middle East find themselves caught in the crossfire. In Iran, the Red Crescent says nearly 800 have died in 4 days of bombings. And today, in the city of Minab, a mass funeral was held for what the regime claims were girls killed in an elementary school. Rows of graves seen awaiting coffins.
I don't think war is inevitable.
IDF spokesman Nadav Shoshani denied Israel is responsible.
We're doing everything we can to be as accurate as we can and making sure that we are not targeting the Iranian civilians because we're not at war with them.
This comes as the U.S. State Department is telling the roughly 1 million American citizens in 14 countries to leave immediately and says help is on the way.
It's going to take a little time because we don't control the airspace closures. That said, there may be more people out there that need help. We need to know who you are.
But with most planes grounded, many are finding escape nearly impossible. Kat Spitzer is stuck in Dubai.
Everybody is scared. We don't want to be forgotten. We just want any way to get out. This has been the wildest trip of my life.
American Tamar Rubenstein is pregnant with twins. She's taking a bus from Israel to Egypt, then flying to Athens, and then Munich, and then to Chicago. It'll take her 2.5 days.
Why not just wait until the missiles end and stay in a safe place?
There's such a lack of clarity, so I didn't want to get to the point where I wouldn't be cleared to travel anymore.
That's a tough road. Now, Secretary Rubio has said that the U.S. is now chartering planes to try to bring Americans home. But, Tony, so many of those travelers that we spoke to said that the State Department just hasn't moved fast enough to help them.
You can understand their frustration. Matt, thank you very much.
That was CBS News. And this is Suzette Speaks Live. We have just broken into a report via CBS News, Evening News, about the travelers that are stranded. And again, this is what is flowing across social media. Where are these so-called evacuation flights? Have you seen them? And again, as of the broadcast today on March 5th, all of the commercial spaces, most of the places that you would go. And I thought to myself, God, if I was stuck in Dubai, would I go to the airport? Because it would be like you're a sitting duck. You're sitting in the airport. Or you're at your hotel. Hotels have been struck by fire and as if it was in a combat zone. Like they have been missile attacks, I should say, that have hit hotels and residential areas, and where people, they said over 1 million, according to that report on the CBS News website and YouTube channel, over 1 million Americans are currently across this region now impacted by war. And there doesn't seem to be a clear plan from the United States State Department, which is the United States government, to assist them in helping to get them home. You are on your own. You have to get into your own car, truck, get across the border, fly to Europe, come back through this, go there, and then try to get out. It's a harrowing situation. I saw a bachelorette party, and you probably could find it on maybe Instagram or TikTok, and the ladies are toasting the bride. Cheers to the bride, and then you hear bombs in the background. It's frightening. And, you know, people trying to party. You trying to party on the rooftop. You having parties. And in the background, it is bombs going off. It's quite harrowing. So, again, this is the State Department. The United States State Department is urging the roughly 1 million American citizens who are across 14 countries in the Middle East. This is according to the CBS Evening News that was broadcast yesterday, to leave immediately. Now, they keep saying help is on the way. And I'm trying to figure out where is that? Where is it? Because with most planes grounded, many are finding escape nearly impossible, as we heard in this report by Mr. Matt Gutman of CBS Evening News. So I don't want us to forget those people, the Americans who are still in the region. And the question now becomes, when does this end? I have to ask. I also want to ask, do you believe, I'm asking you rhetorically, do you believe the United States will put boots on the ground? We had a whole song. But boots on the ground used to be such a positive thought. It elicited such a positive thought. I got my boots on the ground. What I'm fans. Now it's boots on the ground for real. Hello, somebody. We're not talking boots on the ground, no dancing thing. Hello. Do you think the United States is going to bring troops in? And what does that mean? Now, the stock market took a shot yesterday. Ooh, breaking news. President Trump fires. This is straight off of CBS News in the studio. Sorry, I'm hot and bothered because it's coming right at you from here at Voice of the Caribbean, Suzette Speaks Show Live. This is live breaking news. President Trump fires Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is out. This is being reported by CBS News live special report. As I'm watching the different outlets, I am picking this up live. We're going to get details to you as soon as we can. But according to CBS News reporting live right this minute, hot off the press right during the middle of the Suzette Speaks show, there's a special report that's being given right now by CBS News that President Trump has fired Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem, we know, was under fire the last few days testifying before Congress. Did you watch any of her testimony? Well, President Trump, she's out, y'all. According to CBS News, special report live. We're just getting it hot off the press. We're going to keep you updated as this news unfolds. Kristi Noem has been fired. You're fired, Kristi Noem. President Trump, I wish I had the, oh my gosh, I need the subtitles here so I can see what's going on. I'm watching about 3 different TVs here in the studio. And one just caught my eye. Wanted to bring you that news hot off the presses. It looks like Kristi Noem is out, y'all, allegedly. According to CBS News, President Trump has now fired his director of Homeland Security. Now, she was the face of all of the craziness that was going on in Minnesota. Those innocent people, we remember them. Mr. Pretty. You remember she did all these commercials. The lady went to order a jet with a bed. You saw the bed in the jet? How much $1 million for that? Well, it looks like her luck has run out. Her time has run out. And this new breaking news that President Trump, it looks like it, CBS News has cut away from regularly scheduled programming and is now bringing us this breaking news alleging that President Trump has fired his Homeland Security. I thought that was his ace. Let me see if I can also corroborate it online. That's CBS News Live. President Trump has fired Kristi Noem. She's out, y'all. Listen, there's so much breaking news, and I keep telling you so much news, so little time. What will we see in Iraq? We don't know. Fired. I see it on the second platform. First term senator. Is that who is replacing her? Senator Markwayne Mullin? Is that what's happening? First term senator, former congressman for Oklahoma, Senate Armed Services Committee member, former MMA fighter. Let me make sure that's correct. Oh, child, they done fired Kristi Noem. Mr. Trump said no more. Trump is preparing to fire. This is what's being, also I see it here on the Wall Street Journal. So is this their replacement or this is we're not saying that's his replacement. Let me correct the record. That is alleging that I guess he is possibly being considered. This is going live, y'all, so we're trying to bring it to you. That's alleged that Markwayne, the senator. Ooh, okay. We're not going to report that because we don't have corroboration right now. Who will replace her? We're still going to wait and see. But according also from CBS News Live, there's also with the Wall Street Journal now reporting that the Homeland Secretary, Kristi Noem, Trump is preparing to fire Kristi Noem. That's according to the Wall Street Journal article published just minutes ago at 1:36 by Josh Dawsey. Okay. The Homeland Security Secretary's combative Senate hearings this week was a key factor. There is being reported, according to the Wall Street Journal, President Trump is preparing to fire Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. According to advisors familiar with his thinking, the president has already been asking aides and congressional Republicans for names for potential replacements, the advisors said. According to the Wall Street Journal, a spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security said, quote, Secretary Noem serves at the pleasure of the president. The White House didn't respond to requests for comment. The final straw for Trump was Noem's combative hearing Tuesday before the Senate Judiciary Committee, which showed bipartisan frustration with Noem's leadership, the advisors said. Noem's decision to allot, here we go, $200 million. $200 million. Woo! Oh, I see it here right now. Breaking news again. President Trump fires DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and is planning to replace her, according to CBS News, allegedly with Senator Markwayne Mullin, a Republican from Oklahoma, is set to replace her. That's what I'm seeing live on CBS News Live special report. That's what's being alleged. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, Kristi Noem's decision to allot $200 million for an ad campaign featuring herself urging those living illegally in the United States to self-deport. You guys seen the commercial. You've seen the Kristi Noem commercials. $200 million of commercials for ad campaigns. Did she advertise on Voice of the Caribbean, Mikey Lee? Mikey, we never get none of the ads. We never get no ads, Mikey. Hi. $200 million worth of ads. Featuring herself urging those living illegally in the United States to self-deport had already rankled the president for months for its self-promotional style. At the hearing, Noem told senators that the president had signed off on the ad campaign, an assertion that upset Trump, who told senators and advisors he had not signed off on the ad campaign. Listen, Trump does not, however, frequently change his mind, especially when it comes to firing officials. He has previously told aides he doesn't want to make personal decisions based on Democratic messaging or media pressure. This is hot off the news, y'all. I'm going to say it again. It has been reported allegedly by CBS News in a special breaking news report live on their national CBS News platform that President Trump has fired DHS, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and is planning allegedly to replace her with Senator Markwayne Mullin, Republican of Oklahoma. I don't even know if he better, y'all. We got to pick that up tomorrow. Listen, be with me today. Today, yours truly, Suzette Speaks. I have an amazing opportunity to celebrate Women's History Month Thanks to the Virgil Hawkins chapter of the National Bar Association. National Bar Association represents the 5% nationally of Black attorneys across the country. It is our national bar where we come together and advocate for one another and for more of us in the legal profession. Well, tonight, the Florida chapter is hosting a webinar featuring some incredible powerhouses, and yours truly, Suzette Speaks, has the, thank you, Lord, I have the ability to moderate a timely discussion about the place of women lawyers, specifically Black women lawyers, in the fight for equality and justice, featuring Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis. She will be a panelist. Former State Senator Arthenia Joyner. Thank you. Former Florida Supreme Court Chief Justice Peggy Quince. Thank you so much. And our president, Ashley of the National Bar Association itself. We're going to have a good time tonight. You can sign up. Virgil Hawkins. It's on all of my platforms. Y'all, I love y'all. I'm out of time. Lisa be up next. Thanks for listening.
Voice of the Caribbean. This is the all-new Voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. WLYF HD2 Miami, 101.5 HD2.
Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't want to get a copyright. Bye. Thank you. Have a good day.